Hi, my name is Wayne, and this is Type Tested. I'm doing more work on my Corsair Deluxe, and I've run into an interesting problem that I've never encountered before. And I'm kind of surprised that this would be the case, but strange things happen to a typewriter. So as I was looking at the various elements on this typewriter, examining the ribbon lift, type guide, and so forth, and I started handling it, I noticed that I was getting something very, very odd. I was examining, I think it was the type rest, which is something I'll have to deal with at some point. And I noticed that I was moving things around. I was getting some movement out of the segment. And that should not be. So, looking up, turning this upside down to try to see what we had, I noticed that the connection between the typewriter and the segment is by two screws. One here and one there. You'll notice that that screw is missing. What's more, this screw is quite loose. That should not be. I've never encountered that before, but that kind of explains why I was getting some odd typing behavior while I was examining this. So I am going to have to find a replacement, and unlike a professional technician, I don't have any spare units. So I have to kind of make do or look for them my own. Now, me taking this off, this screw out here does no damage because there are other elements that are holding the segment in place. Plus, I'm not planning on moving it around. Also, the alignment on the segment, let me flip this over just briefly so I can show you. The alignment on the segment is based on the type guide relative to the type bars. The type bars are all attached to the segment, as is the type guide. So they are aligned relative to each other. So I can take the type bars out of this completely and remove the segment completely after undoing a couple of linkages, and I'll not have any problems putting it back in place. So I'm not creating any problem by taking that screw out. And the reason I have to do that is because I have to figure out what I've got so that I can find a replacement. And to do that, I need two things: a thread gauge and a caliper. I have to figure out what threads this screw uses. Go ahead and back out here a little bit. Now, this thread gauge has two sides on it: Whitworth and metric. Metric has a 60-degree pitch. Obviously, that's German typing. And Whitworth has a 55-degree pitch. Now, we know that this is going to be a fairly fine thread, so I don't have to bother with any of these. I don't have to bother with the coarser ones over here. So I'm going to take a guess, and I'm going to start this side, Whitworth. So you see here, the thread pitch is written as 19, 24, 28. I'm going to start at 32, and let's see what happens. So if you've never used a thread gauge before, it's very simple. Isolate the particular pitch you want and compare it to the threads on the screw, if you can keep everything else out of the way. And you can see this one doesn't quite work. It's a little bit too coarse, so let's try the 36. And One still doesn't want to quite fit. So let's try 40. And there we have a match. You can see quite clearly that they're fitting in exactly on the threads. Now, you have to kind of watch the point out here. You don't want to try to push it right up against the top. It won't sit there properly. So you want to go a couple of threads down, and that's where you want to take your measurement. So I know this is a 40 gauge thread pitch, 40 threads per inch. Okay, so I can put that away. So now, once I get my thread gauges properly packaged up again, always keep things in their package. It keeps them protected, and bad gauges will cause you no end of problems. So now, let's take the caliper, undo it here. See what I've got for width. This is the major diameter, that is the outside of the threads, not the inside. And I get, so I've got 0.1, 2, 2, 2, 1, close enough. If you know your measurements, you'll recognize that 0.122 is almost 0.125, which is 1/8 of an inch. So it's 1/8 of an inch, and converting that to standard thread gauges ought to come out to a number 5 screw. So I'm looking for a 5-40 screw. Now I have to figure out how long this thing is. And now, for the length, I'm just going to get out my old trusty ruler. And I'm going to use the fine section of this. Look at 30 seconds. And from that, I've got looks like, let's go the right direction. 7/30 seconds, which is just about a 1/4 inch. So I need to find a screw 540 by 1/4 inch. Now, digging through my screw collection, I have a 540 by 3/8. So let's compare real quickly. You'll see that these appear to be exactly the same diameter. The threads mesh together quite nicely. The only difference is that this screw is a little bit long. Now, I prefer to have screws that are a little long over those that are a little short, because it's easy to cut a screw down. If you come up short, you have to go buy some new screws. So let me go ahead and put this in the hole I took the other one out of. And unfortunately, this is a Phillips head screw, but that's what happens when you get to replacement parts. You can't ever find quite the right thing that you need, so you have to make do. So I want to put that in here and just see if it'll go easily and how deep it will go. And okay, that's as far as it will go. So I am definitely going to have to trim this to the same size. And it's worth doing that experiment beforehand just so you can save yourself a little trouble, but you need to be careful. Sometimes, even if it'll fit in, the extra length of the screw will protrude through a through hole and cause problems by making something else catch on it. So I'm going to pause here for a bit. I'm going to go get my Dremel, and I'm going to cut this screw down and show you how I do that. All right, so let me set the typewriter aside. So I have a clean surface to work with. I'm going to take this, figure out where I need to cut it at, so I don't overdo it. And I'm going to grab the first thing I happen to have available, which is this enamel paint pen. I'm going to mark the area that I want to cut away. Now, for the fun bit, I'm going to hold this screw with something that won't get my hands cut. Now, my quarter drum would have gone through this faster. This battery-powered one has limited torque. So now, I'll go ahead, set that down, let it cool for a second. I'll go ahead and put a little bit of water on it. And now, I've got the screw the right length, but I have a lot of crap at the end of the threads. Dry this off real quick. I'm going to get a triangular file because it's easier for me to hold on to. I may have to go with a flat file, but we'll see. I'm going to attempt to file a 60-degree angle on the end of this screw so that it will thread without binding. This is a lot easier. We're going to hold it in the clamp. Yeah, I'm going to have to go something more aggressive. All right, fine. I don't want to do this, but we will. I also want to get that burr off the end. Now, this doesn't have to be perfect. I'm trying to not damage my pliers. Let's see what I've got. I'm exactly happy with that. Once you start to get the shape, it's easier to refine it. Most important thing is to make sure that the first thread has a taper leading into it so that it will grab correctly without getting caught or trying to skip. Yeah, let's see how that does. Let's get the typewriter back out here. and promptly drop the screw. So we'll get a little bit of help. Go in place with the pliers. Okay. That's going to hold just fine. However, I want to put it on the other side. Because that's where the original hole was, and I want to keep this side a flathead because it's easier to access. Let me go ahead and put that back in here. Tighten this down, and that should help me to be able to thread the other one in place. All right. Now, really hard to reach. There we go. Be careful that I don't strip it when I'm trying to firm it down. This ought to hold, but I probably should have used some thread glue. That's fine. So there is the new screw. Like I said, it's Phillips, but then we have others here that are factory that are also Phillips. And the head isn't quite the right size, but it will do. So that is going to hold for quite a while. Now, I have no idea how screws like that work their way out unless this typewriter had been in the shop before and whoever worked with it didn't put it back together correctly. And I can tell you, there was nothing hanging out in the bottom of the case when I took it apart. So whatever happened to it, it's been gone a very long time. And now that I have that together, you can see that there's no movement whatsoever in the segment. It's perfectly solid, and it's going to stay solid. So there's today's lesson. Sizing and replacing missing screws in your typewriter when you don't have the exact replacement. Once again, my name is Wayne, and this is Type Tested.